Oh, oh, Jesus. I don't, I'm getting too old for this shit. Just rewatching. Nothing but air. Absolutely nothing but air on that last shot. Oh, fuck my life. This fucking team. Oh, this fucking team. So the Knicks win. The Knicks win. The Knicks win. This will be very easy to talk about because I'm totally composed. 100% composed. Wasn't nervous at all. Despite not scoring a point in the last 13 minutes of a road game against a previously undefeated team, the Knicks win. And we will have a lot to talk about. There will be a lot of conversation about the end of this game, how it went down, the plays that they did not make, the plays that Chicago almost made. But at the end of the day, the Knicks are 4-1. And the Knicks did just beat a team that, granted, had not beat anybody yet this year in their building with, I mean, Jesus Christ, despite a furious comeback at the end there. My I was thinking about 5 minutes ago what my opening thought was going to be for this post game when they were up by 13 with 3 minutes to go. And it was going to be that the great thing about this Knick team, after so many years of watching Knick teams just not give a shit at all, and not make teams try hard and not make teams play hard, is that this Knick team is a just absolute pain in the nuts to play against on every night they step foot on the court. And I think while we can certainly have some quibbles with this season, end of the Boston game, or in regulation at least, the second Magic game, obviously the end of this game, I think that remains true. I do think the Knicks are a team that at the end of the day is the same. They have that same characteristic of last season, which is that they really are hard to play against. But they have more talent. The problem is that with an injection of talent and with new pieces, I think end of game situations become very dicey. And you have a guy like Kemba Walker, who's been used to having the ball in his hands at the end of every big game he's played in since he was 11 years old. Julius Randle was obviously the guy for this team last year. God knows Evan Fournier has had a lot of big moments in big situations on the international stage and across his NBA career. So, like, if there's one thing that I am willing to forgive, I don't know if I'm going to say I'm happy to forgive it, but I am willing to forgive. It is the fact that in late game situations, this team has been absolutely atrocious and ass. And there's no other way to say it. Like, you're up 13, you gotta close that out. That said, unlike the game or the end of the game against Boston, the end of regulation against Boston, I didn't have a huge issue with anything that happened on offense over the last 3 minutes. I thought the shots were fine for the most part. Obviously, Randall's decision to try to put it back up with 41 seconds to go. They could have taken the clock down to 27 seconds because 14 more on the clock. Was it the right decision? No, it wasn't the right decision. Do I understand it? Yeah, I get it. You're right there. It's a bunny. He missed. It happens. I think, yeah, I mean, the missed free throws, I mean, look, it happens. I actually think Randall overall had a pretty good game. That's probably a controversial take, but I think he had a good game. I think there was a lot of positives that we saw from Randall. We're going to get into it in a bit. RJ Barrett missed 2 down the stretch. I thought, needless to say, RJ Barrett had a great game with no more important play than his very last play, the defense on DeMar DeRozan. And his defense is very real. It is, I don't know if it's his greatest strength, but it's right up there. So to be clear, lots of good to take from this game. And if you would have told me that after 5 games, the Knicks would be sitting at 4-1, I don't think I would have cared what the specifics of how they got to 4-1 were. I would have just been like, fine, I'll sign for it. And that's what I'm going to say right now. I'll sign for it. We quibble because we always quibble. That's what we do here. We're New Yorkers. But overall, this was a hell of a win, a hell of a performance, good games from a lot of people, and a lot to talk about. We're going to get right to the super chat because I already see we got a lot of people in there that want their comments read, so I'm going to get right to it. Aussie Knicks fan with our first comment in the super chat. Thank you, sir. Don't love the decision to go to a struggling Randall ISO the last few minutes. Worried about our inability to close out games, but happy we got the win. I mean, again, I think they got some good shots. I'm going to obviously go back and watch it. Fournier had a nice three. He missed. Barrett had a couple. He had the three that he missed, and he went and he missed like a 12 or 14 foot or whatever that was. I didn't think. Look, I have to go back and rewatch it. I do not recall any atrocious Randall possessions in the last 3 minutes of the game. I could be forgetting one. I'm going to say it right now. I could be forgetting one. I don't think there was any. That said, that is their default, and that default does not usually work well. I mean, look, they went to a Kemba ISO, and Kemba barely got rim, and Kemba had a great game. But again, that's not really Kemba's wheelhouse anymore. Kemba, massively encouraging sign the last couple games, the 5 threes that he's had in each game. They don't win this game without Kemba Walker. They probably don't win the Philly game without Kemba Walker. The threat that he gives them and adds to their offense is absolutely monumental. That said, again, he's still a guy that is dealing with the fact that he can't penetrate the paint like he once did. And there's no shame in that. He's still an immensely helpful player, but on that play, towards the end of regulation, in this game, he tried to go for it and it didn't happen for him. I mean, what else was going for the Knicks? That's the thing is like when you don't have one of those top 10 guys in the league, top 10 shot creators in the league, at the end of these end of game situations like this, it becomes difficult. I'm not going to hate too much on the last 3 minutes. D Black, 5 games in and no more nails to bite. Yeah, no, man, I'm out. I'm out of nails. What a start to the season it's been. Jesus Christ. Leon C. This team seems contractually obligated to give the fans the most tense experience possible. Still a good win. Glad Mitch is okay too. Yes. This night, as bad as it would have been if they lost, would have been 10 times worse if Mitch's injury was significant. It still worries you how often he seems to get hurt. And turn over an ankle or this or that, or like just fall on the ground and like all this stuff. Who knows if that's part of the Knicks calculation in terms of how they want to proceed with extending him. I don't know. I don't know if it should be. It's freak stuff, but we'll see what happens. Thankfully he's okay. Didn't sweat it at all, Robert Cross. Of course you didn't, Robert. Of course. Well, you're in San Diego. Things are nice in San Diego. Why would you sweat anything? RJ will lock you down. 53. Robert, you're not getting off the 53 wins. I love that you're sticking with it. CT Pittman, patron saint of the Super Chat. Star J Barrett. I see what you did there. Won this game for us. We still got a lot of work to do to close games, but I'll take the W. You always take the W. Hey, Sass. My daughter just got up and is very confused. She has no idea where she is right now. Mommy's inside. It's nice seeing you. Life with 2 kids, folks. Where were we? Yes, we'll take the W. I too will take the W. It's a good W. It's a very good W. Charm City Knicks fan. The Cardiac Kids strike again. I like that name. I'll take every W we can get, but how does Tibbs teach this squad how to close? Jack Bailey. I think this is one of those things you kind of just got to learn. I don't. Again, I'm happy for someone to counter this point, but I don't feel like they ever really learned how to close last year. I think they won close games with defense primarily, which is how they won this game. And there was a couple of games. You know what it is? I feel like the close games that they won were games where they were down late, as opposed to games where they had to hold a lead. And holding a lead is different than coming back because you're playing more loosey-goosey when you're trying to come back. We'll see. Hopefully it happens over the course of this year. I mean, it may require them just at some point getting a closer. Is Randall a closer? I don't know. We'll see. Barry Craver, thank you so much for your contribution to the Super Chat. We appreciate you. Jason M, what's going on, man? John, we got to talk about your boy DeRozan. Best thing the Knicks did this offseason was stay away from him. Huge win. RJ is a two-way monster. What was DeRozan's line tonight? I'm happy to eat crow right now. DeRozan, 7 for 18 for 20 points, 5 assists. Yeah, I mean, I thought DeRozan was okay. He wasn't great. Never in a million years would I have wanted the Knicks to give him anything close to what the Bulls gave him. I was very clear in going on record and saying my DeRozan love was because I thought you might be able to steal him for a cheap contract. Obviously, that did not turn out to be the case. And quite frankly, I'm very happy they didn't get him. I love the MO of this team with how many threes they shoot. That being said, only 29 threes tonight, by far a season low. I want to go back and watch the tape as to why they shot so few threes. I don't know. I think it was part of Chicago's defense, and I think Chicago was really kind of inviting them into the paint more than inviting them to take threes, but you take it. So, yeah, good job by the Knicks not signing DeMar DeRozan. Huge win. RJ is a two-way monster. Yes, RJ is a two-way monster. Carl Sanford. I have literally never felt worse after a huge win. Oh, I don't know about that. I feel pretty good. That's a good team, the Bulls. That's a good team, and, like, the Knicks going through a cold spell over the last 3 minutes is not something that I'm going to put too much of a damper on the night. Nobody got hurt. They got the win. And here's what I like about it. They got the win. And even though they didn't make a basket down the end, there was an affirmatively great play that was made by a member of the team. And that was the defensive possession at the end of RJ Barrett on DeMar DeRozan. Good transition to probably talk about RJ. I thought this was his best game of the season, probably by a significant margin. I don't even think it says it fully in the numbers. He ended up with 20 points on 15 shots. Again, he missed those 2 down the stretch, but so did everybody else. Defense was outstanding. I thought he had some really nice finishes. Again, with RJ, I feel like, the guys he's going to get compared to have these, like, huge, loud games. And RJ, especially on this team surrounded by this talent, is not going to have huge, loud games very often. He'll have them occasionally, but not too much. So what you're looking for is to quote a Tibbs line, for him to be a star in his role. Be a star in your role. And I think what RJ Barrett is doing tonight, or did tonight and is doing this season, and did last season, is he's being a star in his role. And his role is defense, and his role is just be an efficient player when you get your opportunities. He was very efficient tonight. I thought, like I said, he had some nice finishes. The 3-ball hasn't really been there so far this year. I'm not worried about it in the least. Talk to me if he's slumping from deep after 20 games. He's going to be fine. Harry Donor, a rare Harry Donor comment in the Super Chat. A win is a win. We'll clean this up. I love it, Harry, because you know why, Harry? When you say something, it's important because it's like once every 10 games. Thank you, Harry. Barry, back with more. Everyone should contribute to the Super Chat and the KFS newsletter. That's very kind, Barry. I think I also have an unread email from you. I apologize for that. It's been a crazy last week and a half. Macri can use the proceeds to pay for a cardiologist after games like this. Thank you, Barry. I really appreciate that. Yeah, sure. Free shout out for the newsletter. If anybody's not subscribed to the newsletter, feel free to go to my Twitter page to subscribe. I might be running a special next week, so actually maybe hold off because we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the Knicks Film School newsletter since I made it part of my livelihood. So keep an eye out for that next week. Worldwide Knicks, what's going on, guys? The game was about to give me a heart attack, but man, RJ was so huge tonight. Yeah, he's what you want. He's your. I was texting with a certain someone who may have gotten married about a month ago and who used to come on the pod to talk draft a lot. And he was just texting me about how impressed he was with RJ Barrett and how, especially with the right hand finishing, we had a couple nice right hand finishes tonight, how the defense is absolutely real. And it's just like, it's again, it's not going to be loud. It's going to be baby steps. Jay Breezy NY. They were trying to get Randall that 10th assist way too hard. Maybe that's fair. And it resulted in a bunch of errors that closed the gap. So glad we pulled it off. Again, I need to go back and watch the last 3 minutes. Look, I tend to have rose-colored glasses when it comes to some of this stuff. Like, I know when I see the end of a game that, like, really, really irks me. It goes without saying that the end of the Boston game was very irksome. I wasn't too irked by the end of this game. It was like, if they lost it would have been devastating because you have no business losing a game like this. And they do need to work on execution and all that stuff. Like the near turnover with 5 seconds left was like, oh my God, guys, what are you doing? So yeah, stuff to work on, but I don't know. I want to go back and watch it. Flausta, thank you so much for your contribution to the Super Chat. We appreciate you. Greg Moran exhales. I like that. Big fan. Don't usually get to tune in live. Well, thanks for tuning in live today, and thanks for being a fan. Thanks for all you guys do covering a very fun team. Stressful fourth quarter. Say that again. Shake my head. Nike. Yeah, not a great look by Nike. Mitch had the Zion tonight with the sneaker blowing up. I don't know who we sign a sneaker deal, Mitch, with a good sneaker company. Glad to see Mitch came back on an immediate block. Extend Mitch. Yeah, let me. That's a good transition. I'm gonna get back. I want to talk more about Randall because I really did think Randall had some nice stuff going on tonight. Again, Mitchell Robinson's final stat line. His stat lines are by far of any player on the Knicks the most disconnected in terms of like what can you tell and what can you not tell about what kind of game Mitch had by looking at his stat line. You really can't tell anything. He ended up with only 6 rebounds, 2 on the offensive glass, 2 blocks, 1 turnover, 9 points on 4 of 4 from the field. I thought Vooch, and look, Vooch is like, there's 2 or 3 low post centers in the game more talented than Nick Vucevic. Like those little flip hook shots, like there's nobody in the league who could stop those. I thought, and Vooch maybe got him on one look that Mitch probably could have gotten to or guarded better. Finished the game, Vucevic 8 of 13 for 22 points. So obviously statistically, Vooch had a good game. I still thought Mitch was really good. I thought Mitch played really well tonight. He changes the feeling of the game at both ends of the court. I thought the lobs to him were massive. The fact that threat exists is so important for this team. I don't think anybody else gives them that. I don't think Noel's going to give them that when he comes back. So good job by Mitch. Ryan Huang, what's going on, Ryan? Love the hustle, but Mitch needs to chill. Scares me every single night. Me too. Also, maybe an overreaction, but will Obi be more impactful than IQ this year? So, I've mentioned it, I think, a few times in these post games. I really do think it's a matter of like he put in so much work and like read the Mirren Fader article. Excellent article, by the way, for the Ringer. Like it is so clear how much this guy, Emmanuel Quickly, like he just bleeds this shit and he wants it so bad and he works so hard for it. And I think this might be just a case of like he had this rookie year, he had this huge chip on his shoulder. Nothing was expected of him. Came in, blew away everybody, put in more work this summer, and now it's like, I don't know. I think maybe it's in his head a little bit. He's going to be fine. I really do think he's going to be fine. His final, I think, what did he go? He was 1 for 7 tonight, 0 for 4 from deep. The stuff, there was a moment where he had a 3 that he could have taken, and he ended up kind of dribbling into nothing and then kicked it back out, and it ended up being a bad shot on the possession. And I'm like, Quickly, like I know he's not hitting 3s right now, and I appreciate the thought process of like, okay, if the 3 isn't falling for me, I'm going to figure out other ways to score. I get that. I like that. He did have a nice floater, but he just needs to fire away. I don't care what he is from deep. Just keep firing away. You're going to get there. He'll be fine. As for Obi, what did Obi play? About 10 minutes tonight? 13 minutes tonight. Actually, more than I thought. Yeah, but in fairness, I think in some ways it's easier for Obi to impact the game, especially now that he's started to figure some things out. Nice game from Obi Toppin. He had a really nice block too. Good in general on defense. Tyler Michaels. Shout out RJ. A lot of RJ love in the chat, as it should be. He was the player of the game. He's getting the 3 stars tomorrow. Kemba made it close. Kemba's 5 threes. That's pretty good. This one for him, I thought he played an awesome game and really converted some big shots at the rim. KFS is also awesome. Go Knicks. Thank you so much. You're awesome, Tyler. We appreciate the love. And we appreciate everybody being here. We dipped down, but we were over 1,000 strong a second ago. It's awesome stuff to come in here and celebrate a win like this with you guys, even though my heart is very weak after that. Forgotten NYC. In my book, this is a bad win. All right, we got some dour tone here. My goodness, this team's late game execution this season has been ugly. This is like the third game we almost blew a lead. Yeah, it is almost the third game they almost blew a lead. Although I don't know if that's a fair characterization, because look, I know, and I talked about this 2 nights ago. The Philly game felt close in the second half. It felt like it was on the verge of getting away from them, or not getting away from them. It felt like it was on the verge of becoming a game a few times. That said, it was never below a 14-point lead until the last 30 seconds of the game or whatever it was. Like, they did hold off a Sixer team that I think is a pretty good team. And the Boston game, like, yes, awful late game execution in regulation. And then they then they went into overtime and they didn't give it up, and they forced a second overtime and they won in the second overtime. So I feel like, would we be having this conversation if literally one of those, if like the Julius Bunny, if he makes it, if like Fournier hits the three that he attempted, if RJ hits the three that he attempted, if RJ makes a shot that he'll make most of the time, that little mid-ranger, like, I don't want to say we're overreacting a little bit, but I feel like we might be overreacting a little bit. And again, it's so early. And I do think late game execution is the type of thing that does improve with time, because the more you're in these situations, I do feel like the easier it becomes, or the more natural it becomes. We'll see. Maybe it's famous last words by me, but I'm not going crazy about this right now. James Stanzoni, what's going on, my man? Randall almost blew it trying to go for the triple double towards the end. Confused with Tibbs. If Rose is in, we win easily. Still a great game. It's funny you say that. Again, I really have to go back and watch these last 3 minutes. You guys are pointing out like this notion that Randall was going for the triple double. I'm gonna like pull up the play-by-play towards the end, because like I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something. God knows I have selective memory. In terms of Rose and Walker, I actually thought it was the right move to bring back in Kemba. I thought their defense was really sound, even with Walker in there. I thought, while Rose certainly had some nice moments, I also thought in the second half, he also had a few moments that were very un-Derrick Rose-like. It felt like, the being back in Chicago and like the MVP chants and all that stuff. He's human. I wonder, did it get to him at all? I don't know. I actually like them putting Kemba back in. I know he didn't do anything down the stretch, but look, you're always going to second guess, you're always going to second guess. I was okay with that, but we'll see. Trust me, Rose is going to close a lot of games. Warzone Chronicles. I'm very sick of Randall in crunch time. Uh-oh, we got an angry one here. Hold on, I lost you. Oh man, you guys are really, really, really firing up the super chat. Thank you guys so much. Wow. Okay. My goodness, it brought me to the bottom because there's so many super chat comments. Thank you guys. This is utterly unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to try to get to some of these pretty quick. The ISOs, the dump into Randall when he's double teamed, that's got to stop, full stop. Here's the thing. The dumps to Randall in the fourth quarter, those drew fouls. Not all of them, but most of them. There were definitely 3 times where he drew fouls, and he made up until the very end of the game, he drew fouls. And also, don't put that on Randall. Randall's not calling those plays for himself. Randall's not waving off a Tibbs play call. Yes, he's done it before, but that's not what he was doing. Like, that's the game plan. I mean, I guess that's a criticism of Tibbs. Look, he was an All-NBA second team player last year. I don't know what you want. Like, go watch any other team in the league. Literally any other team in the league. And if they have a guy who is an All-NBA player towards the end of the game, guess what? They're gonna, when the team bears down and really defends hard, you're gonna get plays like that. Julius Randle he's not as good as like Kevin Durant and like some of those other guys. There's no shame in that. Like he's a really great player though. And he made a lot of big shots for this team last year. That said, could it be better? Of course, it could always be better. But in the grand scheme of things, like I don't know that that's the thing that I'm going crazy about. CPM, happy to join you live from London for the first time this season. I like letting the league think they have a chance. 4-1. Let's go, baby. Good comment. I appreciate you chiming in from London. Hush Zoo. Teams are playing Randall really well now. I hope he turns the clock back and starts playing like he did in New Orleans and LA. Well, I mean, in New Orleans and LA, it's so long ago now. He was, what was he, the third or fourth? He was, the third option on that team. Probably. He was such a long way. I feel it's funny. I had a feeling this might happen if he started the season with like a couple iffy performances. And I actually think he's been really good. Like, here's the thing. Atlanta showed the rest of the league, this is the blueprint to how you defend Randall. You don't send the hard double because he's smart enough to get out of the hard double or to pass it out of the hard double. What you do is you show the help from multiple places to the point where the help's not all the way there, but also it's close enough, and it's also close enough to the guy that Randall wants to pass to, so there's no obvious outlet. And yet, there were 4 possessions tonight where it was my goodness, the possessions at the end of the first half, and he had another kick out. I believe it was to Kemba Walker in the second half. I think it was in the third quarter, where Randall just had absolutely gorgeous finds to his teammates. And I think I saw a comment, I'll get to it in a bit, where like the Knicks don't win this game without Julius Randle. No, the Knicks don't win this game without Julius Randle. The Knicks probably lose by a considerable margin. Like, he still is their offense. Like, you cannot imagine double-digit assists or whatever he had, 9 assists. I got to be honest, I'm a little taken aback by how much Randle pushback there is on here. The guy's the best player to happen to this team since, I'll get myself in trouble, I won't say a name, in a long time. So, did he have his best game? No, he didn't have his best game, but there were also some really nice moments there. The Neil's next door. Win is a win for me. My only comment is if we're going to be on national TV, we need to get in contract with Klein and Breen needs to be on the broadcast. Yeah, I was a little surprised when, Breen wasn't on there, but I thought Kenny Albert, did a nice job. Robert Cross. Is it fair to say that the Knicks will be the best team in New York this year? Bing bong, 53 wins. Taj Cutlets, Ewing Patreon. Shout out to any of our Ewing patrons in here. Forgive Claudio for Jets Mets. I can't say that yet. I would love to be able to say that. And maybe I will say that at some point. I know the Nets what are the Nets? 2 and 3? They have not played great. Listen, crazier shit has happened. Who knows? But I can't say that right now. Thanks though, Robert. 2 in his head during clutch moments. Tell me I'm wrong. No, during clutch moments, 100%. And I think people stems from the fact that I think you could tell he gets in his head a little bit during clutch moments. I guess I'm just more. I want to be more defensive of him because of how important he has been to this team and where they would be without him. I don't even want to think about. And again, like I said, I want to go back and rewatch those last 3 minutes. Rage X. We don't win this game without Randall. Here's the comment. Thank you. These haters need to go home. No more Kemba last 5 minutes. We need D Rose to close games. Okay, so some more love for D Rose the last 5 minutes. Who knows if they had? I'll say this, and this is a good point, and this I did not think about before. Rose is the only guy on the team that can get to the rim at will, and I feel like if you had Derrick Rose in there in the last 3 minutes, he probably figures out a way to pull one of those out of his keister and just get all the way to the rim and convert a layup. And all it would have taken is one of those, and we're not talking about this crazy ending, right? And we're all feeling a lot more positive. So you know what? On second thought, I maybe retract what I said before. Still, I didn't mind it at the time because, like, if he had left Rose in the whole time, I think there's possibility Rose would have been gassed. And then, like, you go back to Kemba, you pull Kemba out and put Rose back in. Like, I don't know. Fair point. Michael Shane. That sequence in the third when RJ took over was a massive part of the win. Completely agree. Good point there. I love his past 3-point barrages, but it was so encouraging to see him finish consistently inside with both hands. Yeah, again, I'm not worried about the shot. I think the shot's gonna be fine. I don't think last year was a mirage at all. It's the finishing. If you've been watching me, I've been saying this for 2.5 years now, or close to 2.5 years. It's the finishing. It's the finishing. It's the finishing. Convert around the rim, make smart decisions, take good shots. And that's the other thing. Maybe some of the finishing isn't there this year all the time, but it's better, and the decisions are good. You know what I haven't seen from RJ Barrett, with maybe one or two exceptions? Those garbage attempts that are I don't even know what they are. He gets in the vicinity of the rim and he throws something up. There's been one or two, but I think he's largely eliminated those from his game, as he should with the talent around him. Kevin Danishevsky, RJ's awesome on D, 100%. One thing about that run, I thought there were some ticky-tack fouls at the end that hurt us. Also, the last two aside, the free throws were better. Yeah, free throws were better aside from the last two. I don't know about the fouls. I'd have to go rewatch. I thought the whistle was fair this game. It was fine. But yeah, Logan Bartlett. What's going on, Logan? How are you? Another one of our Ewing tier patrons. Amazing what having a point guard that can shoot does to open up doubles on Julius Randle. 100%. Absolutely. Great comment. Kemba Walker. Hopefully everybody can calm down who was concerned about Kemba Walker. Will Oliver. After years of seeing that last-second shot go in against us, oh, my God, I had the exact same thought. I was like, how many times have I watched this fucking shot go in before DeRozan put it up? I was like, this shot goes in every fucking time. It was nice to finally see him miss and get the W. Love the work you guys do here. We love all of you guys. Thanks for coming in and checking us out. Prototype NC. I understand that people hate those last 3 minutes, but, guys, we just beat 3 teams that the media picked way over us. Celebrations are in order. Again, how far we've come. I'm gonna drink to that. If you would have told any Knicks fan that we would beat the Celtics, the Sixers, and the Bulls on the road before the season, and that I'd be sitting here after a game and fending off complaints left and right, there's your Leon Rose Executive of the Year case, right? How far he has taken this organization in, again, just a year and a half. He took over officially in the beginning of March of 2020. It was a year and a half ago, and we're here now. We here, as it were. So pretty friggin' awesome. Okay. Moving right along, Kevin Danishevsky. Also, thank you for the second comment. Part of the reason I think they were cool on offense was because they were focused on running the clock down. Kind of took them out of rhythm. Yeah, 100%. But again, that's one of those things that I feel like you need experience to where is that balance? Where's that balance between we have so much faith in ourselves to be able to execute our offense, even in tight situations, that we're just going to keep firing away from 3 whenever we get an open look. That's the thing that not unnerved me, that I didn't love about their offense this game. I want to go back and rewatch it, but I feel like there were opportunities for them to fire away from deep and that they maybe didn't take. But, they won the game. I thought, by and large, their offense was okay until the end. And I by the way, I haven't said it yet. The Bulls are good. I do think the Bulls are good. And I was really impressed with the Bulls defense. Very impressed with the Bulls defense. Bulls defended very well. Caruso, we give a lot of shit because of the RJ thing, but Caruso's a hell of a defender. Lonzo Ball's a good defender. I thought the rest of their guys defended okay for what they are. Boston Nick, what's going on, man? It's good to see you. Long time. Say what you want about Randall, but he was 1 assist away from a triple-double. Badman Barrett, did I do that accent okay? Was on his BS the entire game. Finally getting kudos for his defense at the end as well. And oh my God, Obi. Yeah, we get an oh my God, Obi moment once a game or twice a game or 3 times a game. He gave us a few tonight. Good to hear from you, man. Greg Film Stuff, what's going on? We won and I'm disappointed. That's okay. You're allowed to have emotions. Tibbs should have went to the second unit to close the 4th. Well, we knew that wasn't happening. RJ was the main bright spot with the successful one-on-ones, and Butler looked like his ceiling. Also, Chicago isn't that scary. Suspect bench. Yeah, the Chicago bench is bad. Well, I don't say it's bad. It's not great right now. You know, they're a very thin team, and they left themselves thin. And when you give up Thad Young in a sign and trade to get DeMar DeRozan, it's going to thin you out. Thad Young would be really helpful for this team right now. That said, they got Caruso from the Lakers. How much would the Lakers love Caruso right now? Kobe White still isn't there for them. I'm curious to see how they integrate him when he's back. But I think the Bulls are pretty good. They're not like a top 3 seed. I don't think they're that good. But I think they're a playoff team. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if they got in the – to talk about things that I'm wrong about, the fucking Celtics seem like a disaster. I would probably pick the Bulls ahead of the Celtics right now. Kevin McEwen, what's going on, my man? I have to reach out to you. Go Knicks. That's the post. 4-1. I'll take it. Kevin, you're awesome. Thank you so much. Great to see you. I hope all is well. James, again, Stanzoni, he's back. 10:30 Monday will be in sole possession of the number 1 seed. So they play the Pelicans on Saturday, and then after the Pelicans, I feel like we have another winnable game, or is that the Milwaukee game? That is Toronto. Toronto, I actually think has been playing pretty well. They're a feisty defense. They got a good starting 5. Siakam might be back for that Toronto game, which is iffy, but it's a home game. I do think this again, it feels like every time we say this, the next game, I feel like it's a big game. Go into New Orleans, beat a New Orleans team that you should beat. They'll be favored on the road against the Pelicans, probably by 3, 4, maybe 5 points. Go win that game. That's an important game. Get to 5. They get to 5-1. Shit, man. Again, I don't care how they win that game. Get to 5-1. That'll be wonderful. Andre Talamaj. This team is they're actually 4-1. And outside of the tip-in attempt that he should have pulled out, was just playing basketball. Plus, gives those some credit. I'll take it. Yeah, I thought Lonzo had a nice game. Again, he's really good defense. Listen, I don't want to turn this into a Randall Love fest because on the grand scheme of things, did he have a good game? I don't know that he had a good game. I think he had he had a good game overall. For him, though, we've become so spoiled. You know, especially during that run last season where he was really just in complete command of everything, and we were saying like, see that, and then I get it. I get where the frustration comes from because there was a time last season where we were saying Porzingis was never this good over a sustained stretch. Amare, even when he was in the MVP conversation when he first got here, I don't know if even his stretch was as good as the stretch Randall gave us last year. And then before that, you got to go back to the 90s unless, you want to pick out a Melo stretch somewhere along the way. But, like, Melo was just great. Like, Melo never had that one stretch of dominance. Like, Randall, man, he was so good last year. He really did spoil me. But that's part of why I want to defend him so much. And that's part of why I get a little feisty on here when people are going to be critical of him. Just, again, what he means to the organization is I don't know what else to say about it. It's awesome. Jeremy Chase, what's going on, Jeremy? It's good to see you. Other than sports media loving white guys, why does everyone love Caruso? It's fantastic. It's the headband. He's bald Kirk Heinrich. I don't get it. Also nice of Chicago to celebrate one last year of us paying Noah tonight. That was very nice. Because I think Caruso is one of those guys. Oh my God, I might get in trouble for this fucking comment. I think he's what we always wanted Frank Ntilikina to be, or as some would say, what Frank Ntilikina always should have been had he just gotten the time to show it. He plays outstanding defense. He doesn't really make mistakes. He could give you a little dribble penetration, or at least he can put the ball on the floor. I'll say that. He could hit a 3. We saw a couple really smart, like basketball nerds, like media basketball white guy nerds. They love the shit like the Caruso, like the backdoor cuts, right? Like Caruso is like he'll backdoor cut you out the arena. Like they love shit like that. Is he one of the 125 most important players in the NBA this season? I don't know about that, but he's a good player. I take him on my team any day. He's not RJ fucking Barrett. Like, sorry, but he's a nice little player. Ross Tuck, No lie, my Apple Watch alerted me that my heart rate was high while sitting down the last 10 minutes of that game, but I'll take it. Great balance, W. When the Vooch 3 went in, I was like, oh, actually, it was even before that. I think it was what was the play? What the hell? So I went back to the first quarter. ESPN is like just not the best app. So the Vooch 3 brought it to 3. I think when that's what it was. When they had, and this was not great. When they had a 9-point lead with a minute 15 seconds. That's another play. My God. When Randall, he got the ball and then he like dropped it. And it was a kickball violation. Like if they don't get the kickball violation, like that's a freak thing. They would have gotten another 14 on the clock. And like, so then DeRozan comes down, he makes a driving layup that was not a great play by Mitch, foul there on DeRozan. Like it cut it to 6. And I was like, oh, fuck. It's a 6-point game with over a minute to go. And that's when I first was like, oh shit. It wasn't until that moment where I was really like, but they got the win. It's all that matters, right? It's all that matters. Nate Clark, what's going on, Nate? I'm sorry I left your comment hanging here for so long. Just you guys are awesome in the chat, in the super chat. Come and watch with the likes. We're almost up to 200 likes. Feel free to gently slam the like button to get us over 200 if you would be so kind. We appreciate it. Nate Clark, why do people get on Julius? Someone read my mind. We're not where we are as an organization without him. Yeah, man. I mean, what more is there to say? We're not like he's the face of the organization. I've always wanted somebody who is really good to embrace being a Knick and to kind of give some meaning to being a Knick. And it's not just Julius. By no means is it just Julius. It's Tibbs. It's RJ in a huge way. And it's the guys they've drafted. It's like Obi. It's Quickly. It's Taj. It's Derrick Rose. It's all these guys. I haven't. Oh my God! I've been talking for 43 minutes. I haven't mentioned Taj Gibson yet. What the hell is wrong with me? Great game from Taj. Love to see him. I think he played. Did he play 20 minutes tonight? He was outstanding, and there's not an accident that he was in the game at the end there when Tibbs was like when it was nut cutting time. 19 minutes, 19 big minutes. But all of those guys contribute together to now kind of give definition to this is what it means to be a Knick, and that's all I've ever wanted. I think that's all a lot of us have ever wanted. Like, yeah, it would be great to see a championship before I die. But just, restore the pride. When we talk about Knicks basketball, instead of it being a fucking punchline, have it be something like with Doc Rivers in the press conference after the Philly win, when somebody asked him about like why the game went the way it did, and he said, he's like, it's the Knicks. It's the Knicks. It's their physicality. Like that's the shit that really like fires me up. So yeah. And Julius is at the center of so much of that. So, and yes, good comment here from Jeff Tucker. Tibbs brings that culture and everybody buys in. And I would encourage everybody, Andrew, get your shot ready, or your drink or whatever. Zach Lowe on his podcast with Joakim Noah, Joe Noah talked about what it was like to play for Tibbs and what Tibbs does for you, what Tibbs does for an organization. And I would encourage everybody to listen to that. It's like the second half of the pod. The whole pod's really good, but listen to the second half of the pod. And he really it makes it very clear. Like this guy, he wakes up, he eats, breathes, shits this stuff, and he cares about it so much, and that's what makes his players care. All right. Well, we're going to finish up with our super chats. Zachary Wasser would love to see more Obi. Also loved RJ's finishing at the rim. Yeah, I'm captain of the more Obi Toppin fan club. I wouldn't have minded seeing Obi for a little bit more in the fourth quarter. I thought he played well, but beggars can't be choosers, right? Bad eyesight. Thank you for your contribution to the super chat, even though I can't see it. Bad eyesight. Tibbs, stop letting Burks late game inbound. Good comment. I did not love that. That's a good call. There are better. I think there are better passers on this team. I don't know that I trust Burks the most in that situation. Good comment. Warzone Chronicles. I love Randall, but he's not an upper tier guy like KD, as you mentioned. Yeah, and again, KD's maybe one of the 12 or so greatest players of all time. Like the guys who are at the I'm going to finish reading your comment in a second, but just like when we talk about Randall isn't like a top tier guy in terms of like the very best, like the 5 or 10 best players in the league. Like we're talking about Kevin Durant, who's maybe a top 10 all-time player. We're talking about Steph Curry, maybe a top 10 all-time player. We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo, who shout out to the most recent Patreon pod. We were talking about if he wins another one, maybe gets another MVP. Is he a top 15, 10 all-time player? It's like we're not talking about slouches here. Like Luka Doncic has a chance to be. I mean, he's been the MVP favorite for 2 straight years. Where does he rank? Nikola Jokic just won an MVP. LeBron James, the second greatest player of all time. It's like Chris Paul, maybe the greatest pure point guard of the last 20, 30 years. Like the talent at the top of the league is so fucking good. And the league is in such a good place right now that to say that Randall isn't on that level, it's not an insult to Randall. It's just like that level is just so high. And the fact that he's still, gotten us to this point, I think is impressive. Tibbs needs to cut out the Randall offense. We have handlers and shooters. Yeah, but he's still their best player. So I'll put it this way. And then we said this all of last year. He still draws the double. And like the 9 assists he had, why did he have those 9 assists? Because he drew doubles every one of those times. And when he didn't draw doubles, when they went one-on-one, he drew fouls at least 3 times in the fourth quarter. That's kind of what teams do. That you ride your best player. It would be great if our best player was even better than he is, but he's not bad. Dominic Milford. No matter how hard my chest was beating, it really shows. Our criticism of the end comes from how amazing we know this team is and can be. Let's go Knicks. Yes. I completely agree with that comment. That is where it comes from. Brian Carter. We all know it's not a Knick game without a heart attack attached. At some point, there's always a heart attack. Because we care about the team so much. That's why. I'm excited for Tibbs to have the game tape to show his team. We will be better. Yeah, I think to me, these are the games. This is like a Tibbs wet dream. Because he's going to go into that locker room and he's going to go into the film room tomorrow and he's going to be like, you guys suck. And here's why you suck. I'm going to show you all the reasons you suck. But they got the win. So, like Tibbs said, you either win or you learn. Sometimes you could win and you learn. Bing bong. I saw a comment. Make sure I didn't miss anybody. I think, okay, we're almost fully caught up here. PKNY. We are in great shape. I agree with that. We are in great shape. 4-1. 4-1. Fuck, 4-1. Our squad is finding a way to win while learning how to be a team. Stay healthy and everything else will fall into place with a gold star. Randall said after the game what he was experiencing. Relief, frustration. And then he says, I didn't throw it in the stands this time. First place, New York. Can we just, for the people that have stuck with us on YouTube this whole time, take a gander at that. You see that? I don't know if I can see it. There you go. First place, 4-1, baby. 4-1. How you like them apples? Love it. Kevin Danishevsky, thoughts on the Wiz beating the Hawks? Are they for real? Yeah, and they didn't have I think they didn't have Gafford tonight. They didn't have Dinwiddie, I saw. I don't know. I watched the Wizards play the Nets the other night. Obviously, we saw them in the preseason. I think they're playing sound basketball. I think they know who they are. I think they're deep with guys who know how to play. They have some weak spots, but I think most people in the NBA would be like, who's better? If they asked them who's better, Bradley Beal or Julius Randle, most people would say Bradley Beal. And the Knicks did what they did last year with Randle as the centerpiece. So why can't the Wizards be good with Bradley Beal? I don't know. I don't know though that I don't know that I'm quite buying it yet. Who have they beaten? Let me see here. They beat Toronto on opening night. They beat Indiana in overtime. I think they came back big in that game. They lost to Brooklyn. They won at Boston in a game. I'm pretty sure that was the game that afterwards Boston's head coach questioned or Al Horford maybe questioned the team's effort. I feel like maybe they're doing that at every game. Things are not good in Boston. And then tonight they beat Atlanta. I think maybe Atlanta, because I watched them against the Pelicans the other night. They didn't look great against Pelicans. I think tonight's game maybe a little bit more of a reflection on the Hawks than the Wizards. I don't know. I'll pay attention. Wizards next couple of games, interestingly enough, the same two teams they just played. Boston and Atlanta, then Toronto again, then Memphis. The Wizards have a chance to make a little run. And then they get Milwaukee. And then things get a little tougher from there. So we'll see what happens. Anthony Sixto. Love Barrett, or like Barrett. I love what we saw from Randall on an off night. Good comment. Refocus to boards and distribution. Tough nights have consistently shown their growth and willingness to look for ways to balance it out. Thank you, Anthony. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the contribution. And I think that might be it. Andrew, give me a heads up if I missed anything. But otherwise, thank you everybody for watching, coming in, hanging out. Look, this was I thought the Philly game was a huge game. I thought this was a huge game. I didn't think this was like a must win, but at the same time, I thought it was a real test. I think the Knicks probably looked at it as a real test. I think the Knicks wanted to win this game, for Tibbs, probably, I would guess, because this is the organization that fired him once upon a time. And I think the shame of those last 3 minutes is that it overshadowed what was, I thought, by maybe not a significant margin, but not insignificant margin, their best game of the season. I really did think their defense was outstanding throughout pretty much the entire night. I thought they did what they needed to do on offense. It was more methodical than we've seen. It was not perfect, as many have pointed out. But I really did think until for 45 minutes, I think they played, I don't know if I would say an outstanding game. I thought they played a really good game. And the best part, the best I think is yet to come. As many people have intimated, have said outright, this team, the more it is together, the more it grows. Again, we're talking about game 5 here. We're talking about 1/16 of an NBA season. That's it. Not a lot of time has gone past yet. And all in all, if anybody would have told us 4-1 after the first 5 games, you would have taken it. So there we go. One more super chat. Greg Film Stuff. Appreciate you coming back in, man. Despite how the game ended, I still think New York is one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. What star do you think New York takes over the top? What do you think? What star do you think takes New York over the top? And who do we sacrifice? Man, talk about like throwing a grenade into the super chat right as I'm about to leave. But I will answer the question. What star do I think takes the Knicks over the top, and who do they sacrifice? I mean, I don't know. That second question is always gonna come down to RJ. Do they, if and when, not if and when a star comes available, do they put RJ on the table? And no player is untradeable. RJ Barrett's not untradeable. Julius Randle's not untradeable. Nobody's untradeable. Maybe Luka Doncic is untradeable. That's about it. If they were to put RJ on the table, what does that package look like? Because, here's the thing, though. Other than the Anthony Davis trade, which was so fucking strange because the Lakers, and look, the Lakers won a championship, so who gives a shit, I guess. But, they gave up so much to get Anthony Davis. And it was worth it because you won a championship, right? But, Brandon Ingram, when they traded him, was, you could, maybe some people will get mad at this, but, his stock at that moment when they traded him, I don't feel like it was all that different from the stock that RJ's at right now. And yet they also gave up Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, whoever, I think those were the big ones, and all the first round picks. I feel like if they ever traded RJ, and I don't think they will, and I don't think they should. I don't want them to. Um, I don't know. I just feel like that would not be like one piece of a very large Godfather package. I feel like RJ would be the Godfather, the massive part of the Godfather package, and then there would be a couple other things. Good comment from Andrew Claudio. Obi for Giannis, or are we giving up too much? Giving up too much. Giving up too much. I think I'm gonna need a second round pick swap to do that. Look, I'm sure they'll trade. They'll make a trade at some point. Who is it going to be? Shout out to the Ringer actually, who a lot of people don't like for their consistent needling of the Knicks over the years. But I thought Kevin O'Connor put out a really nice video today, and at the very end of the video, he kind of did 30 seconds on like what's next, and he like brought up the names of like your typical like disgruntled stars or whatever that get mentioned, and then he's like, or do they stay patient and then wait for like a couple years for like that next crop of the guys who are going to ask out, and like your Donovan Mitchells, your Devin Bookers, or nobody's fucking talking about that Phoenix. I don't know. Did they play tonight? Did they win tonight? Are they playing tonight? I know I should know this, but my head is so wrapped up in Knicks land. Like they've started off the season a little slow. The DeAndre Ayton situation is now a situation. Like someone always asks out. This shit, just happens. Dallas barely won tonight. It's like whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Mike, I will say this. I think like the notion that every one of these young guys are going to be here and sign extensions and the whole thing, like it's not realistic because that's not generally what happens. Like very rarely do teams operate that way. There's usually a trade somewhere along the line. But I'm not thinking about that right now. I love this team. I can't wait to watch the rest of the season. I'm having so much fun so far, as much as it's giving me fucking cardiac arrest. I think we had one more super chat comment here. Lewis, am I right? Better defender so far, Bullock 2020 or RJ this year? I gotta say RJ. I don't even think. I don't say it's not close. It's RJ. It's RJ. And RJ, listen, man, if they're a fucking 3 seed or something, and RJ plays like this, he's going to have a real shot at all defense, a very real shot at all defense. What am I forgetting? I think Andrew wanted me to shout out tomorrow's podcast. We recorded a great podcast with Mason Ginsberg. We talked about the Pelicans, who again are the Knicks' next matchup. They play them on Saturday. I believe that game is at 7:00 on MSG. I think that's it. Check that out tomorrow. We're 260 likes. We appreciate that. Everyone who came, watched, super chat, the whole thing. And I will see you on Halloween Eve, as it were, Saturday night. Be safe, everybody. Talk to you soon.